Piracy is booming again. And no, it's not some nostalgic return to torrent sites and sketchy pop-up ads. It's a reaction, a signal. And it says something uncomfortable about the state of digital life. People don't want to steal, they're just tired of being exploited and taken advantage of. We were told that streaming would fix everything, that it would kill piracy the way that Spotify ended LimeWire. You would get everything for the price of a single subscription, convenience, affordability, and access to a bottomless content vault. But in 2025, that promise is dead. In its place, we've got multiple competing platforms, vanishing shows, regional blackouts, and price hikes so aggressive they feel like a ransom note. So here's the strange twist. Piracy didn't fail, streaming did. This isn't about people being greedy, it's about people getting fed up. When a paid service can delete your favorite show without notice, throttle your access based on your region, or charge you extra just to share passwords with your partner, it's no longer a service, it's a trap. The question isn't why are people pirating again, it's why wouldn't they? We were promised freedom, but we've got chaos, all because of enshittification as a business plan. So, for a brief moment, streaming felt like a miracle. You paid one flat fee, and in return, the gates of entertainment heaven swung open. Netflix had everything. No ads, no waiting, no pirating, just click and watch and enjoy. It was the golden age of digital convenience. But then these floodgates closed. Licensing deals expired, media giants launched their own platforms, and suddenly the shows that you started last week on Netflix, well, now it's only on Peacock or Apple TV or a service you've never heard of, but somehow you still have to pay an additional $14.99 a month. Streaming didn't kill cable, it became cable, only worse. Because at least cable, you weren't expected to manage 6 separate subscriptions, each with their own interface, search algorithm, and billing cycle. And at least cable didn't delete your content. Today, consumers are paying more than ever to access more friction and zero permanence. Want to watch The Office? It's now on Peacock or wherever it is. Want to watch Severance? It's on Apple TV. Only Apple TV. Sports? Well, that's split across ESPN, Fubo, or whatever platform the league just sold exclusivity to. And that's before we start to factor in geo-blocking, region-locked releases. The content that can disappear overnight because some accountant decided strategically not viable anymore. So when people pirate, it's because they hate paying. It's not because they hate paying, it's because they paid and still got screwed. This isn't the free market at work, it's a walled garden that keeps charging you to climb over the next wall. When they can delete what you bought, what did you really buy? Ownership used to be simple. You bought a CD, it was yours. You bought a DVD, it was yours. No one could take it away from you. You paid for it once, and you sat on it, or it sat on your shelf, your glove box, wherever, forever. But in the age of streaming, ownership doesn't exist. It's a mirage. You don't buy content, you buy access, until that access disappears, of course. Amazon has quietly removed movies from people's digital libraries. Apple has previously disabled iPhones repaired at unauthorized shops. Disney releases, well, they released, they canceled, and then they permanently delete entire shows from its platform, offering no refund, no warning, and no alternative. So when people say piracy is theft, ask this: what's being stolen if there's nothing to own? Because here's the truth. When a company can revoke what you paid for, you never owned it in the first place. You were just renting it. And with none of the rights or protections that usually come with renting. And it's not just entertainment, it's your car, your phone, your smart fridge. Everything that runs on software is now wrapped in digital rights management or a lock that you're legally forbidden to pick, even if it's your product. I mean, just look at the Switch 2. There's some controversy on whether or not you're buying a bricked system where you need access to update it for it to actually work. In this system, you're not a buyer, you're a licensed user from someone else's intellectual property. A tenant in a digital apartment, you can be evicted without notice. So maybe piracy isn't stealing, maybe it's just reclaiming what should have been yours in the first place. If it's not available legally, how can downloading it be theft? Let's be blunt. The platforms aren't preserving culture, they're deleting it. Entire shows, games, books, films vanish without a trace, not because people didn't love them, but because they didn't meet a quarterly earnings target. And when that happens, piracy is often the only way to preserve these pieces of work. So Disney pulled Willow from its own platform like 6 months after it released, and it didn't offer a Blu-ray. There was no download option, no pay-per-view. It was just gone. Had someone not pirated the show while it was still live, it would have been erased from the public access forever. Not out of malice, but out of spreadsheet logic. We've seen this story before. The completionist spent over $20,000 to legally download every 3DS and Wii U title before Nintendo nuked the servers. The Internet Archives was sued for lending scanned books during COVID, helping students while libraries were closed. Developers have openly encouraged piracy of their own games in countries where legal distribution is impossible. When a company decides a piece of media isn't worth keeping online and refuses to let you buy it elsewhere, what choice do people have? Piracy in these moments isn't just justified, it's archival. It's the digital equivalence of rescuing a painting from a fire, or printing a banned book, or storing a film reel in a second vault just in case. Culture isn't just Oscar winners and AAA titles. It's Flash games, forgotten cartoons, one-season animes, weird indie horror games. The point is it isn't whether it's high art or not. The point is, if something mattered to someone, it deserves to survive. And in the age of digital deletion, pirates are the only ones doing the saving. People don't want to steal, they want to control. Piracy doesn't exist in a vacuum. It thrives in between what consumers need and what corporations are willing to offer. And increasingly, those gaps aren't accidental, they're engineered. DRM doesn't protect creators, it protects monopolies. Software locks on tractors don't stop theft, they stop farmers from fixing their own machines. Geo restrictions don't reward loyalty, they punish location. In these systems, legality becomes a tool, not to serve justice, but to preserve control. If you crack a game and keep it running after the servers go offline, that's piracy. If you downloaded a show that was never released in your country, that's piracy. If you back up a digital file you already paid for, you guessed it, it's piracy. But when the rules are designed to benefit only the rights holders, even at the expense of consumers, creators, and cultural memory, why should we respect those rules? This is where piracy stops being about access and becomes about agency. You're not supposed to jailbreak your phone or disable your car's auto subscription or host a World of Warcraft server long after Blizzard pulls the plug, and yet people do. Not to hurt anyone, but to take back ownership in a world that keeps trying to sell it back to you. Because piracy at its core is a response to artificial security. It's the digital version of a civil disobedience, a way to say, hey, if you won't let me own the thing that I pay for, then I'm just going to take it. This isn't to romanticize every illegal download, but let's be clear, the explosion of piracy isn't just about convenience, it's about protest. And protest is growing, not because people are immoral, but because they're tired of being powerless. So we get to this question of like, how did music figure it out, but video can't? Well, piracy isn't some unsolvable plague. We've already seen it tamed, and not by threats, lawsuits, or digital locks. It was defeated by better service. In the early 2000s, music piracy was out of control. Napster, LimeWire, Kazaa made millions of songs available instantly for free. The record industry was panicked. CD sales plummeted, lawsuits flew, and nothing was really working until Spotify. Spotify didn't kill piracy with morality, it killed it with convenience. No downloads, no viruses, no waiting, just everything in one place for one low monthly fee. Compare that to video today. Want to watch your favorite show? Hope that you're subscribed to the right platform. Want to rewatch a film? Well, it might be gone. Want to avoid spoilers? Better pay $50 across 4 apps to stay caught up. And if you don't pay, enjoy rotating catalogs, missing seasons, region locks, unskippable ads, and a growing list of titles that simply no longer exist. Here's the kicker. Pirate sites now offer a smoother experience than most digital platforms. On-demand streaming, accurate search, no forced ads, and complete libraries. When piracy has a better user experience than a paid product, you don't have a piracy problem, you have a product problem. Again, at the beginning of the video, I talked about it. Enshittification as a business plan. That's how so many business people who can't actually add value to the industry continue to stay employed and make a ton of money. The music industry made peace with streaming. Video doubled down on control. One industry solved the puzzle with accessibility, the other created a maze of exclusivity. And now they're starting to pay the price. The more they restrict, the more they lose. Streaming platforms have declared war on piracy, but the battle looks to be more like self-sabotage. Netflix was once a friendly disruptor. Now they charge extra for password sharing. Amazon forces ads into Prime Video on top of the subscription you already pay for. HBO Max rebranded. How many times? Who cares? Well, they've slashed its library and served it back with fewer features. Even Disney is deleting from its own originals to dodge residual payments. And what's the result? More piracy. Because if every service is overcharging, under-delivering, and squeezing users with bait-and-switch tactics, then piracy starts to look not just appealing, but reasonable. Consumers aren't irrational, they're responsive. When the cost of doing things the right way climbs higher than the benefit, people take the detour. And the detour is torrenting, shadow libraries, stream to watch, Plex servers, and piracy. But it's been upgraded in a sense. And ironically, the crackdown efforts only make piracy better by motivating developers to build slicker, more user-friendly tools. The user experience arms race is already underway, and pirates are winning it, even though it involves technically illegal activity. Want to stream any show in seconds, no region locks, no ad breaks, in 4K with subtitles? Well, there's a site for that. You probably know its name. So does Netflix, and it's mentioned in their investor reports more than you'd think. So here's the paradox. The more platforms restrict access, the more valuable piracy becomes. They're fueling the very problem they're claiming to be solving. Because what's being stolen isn't just content, it's trust. And once you lose that, you lose the audience. If they won't give us ownership, we'll take it. Let's be honest, piracy isn't going anywhere. Not because people love breaking the rules, but because the rules stop serving them. In a world where content can be deleted overnight, where purchases come with an expiration date, and where convenience is reserved only for those who can afford 6 monthly subscriptions, piracy becomes the fallback. Not just for freeloaders, but for fans, for archivists, for anyone who just wants to watch a show without a corporate middleman hitting the delete key. This isn't just a market failure, it's a cultural fracture. Platforms had a chance to build something sustainable. Instead, they built castles with moats, toll booths, and rotating drawbridges. And in response, users built tunnels, torrents, offline archives, community seed boxes, decentralized preservation projects, private Discord libraries, digital rebellion disguised as convenience. The irony, most people would gladly pay for a simple, trustworthy site, all in one service that respected their time, privacy, and choices. That model already exists in music. It could exist in video too, but until the streaming giants figure that out, they're just going to keep tightening their grip and losing more content and users in the process. So, no. This video isn't a pro-piracy manifesto. It's a post-illusion diagnosis. Because once you realize you've never owned the content, piracy doesn't look like stealing. It looks like survival. What do you think? Are we living in a post-ownership world? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to read every one of them. And I'm curious, have you ever had to pirate a show or a game or something like that because it was not because it was free, but because that was literally the only way to access it? And if you've made it this far into the video, I'd greatly appreciate if you drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.